My nascent senses struggled with the sudden onslaught of light and sound. A vibrant form stood above me, radiating a powerful, compelling energy. My instincts screamed a singular, profound word, and it escaped my newly formed throat. My mate. The world felt chaotic, yet his presence was a beacon. Suddenly, other figures burst into the cavern, their faces etched with aggression. They raised their enchanted conduits, their intentions clear. They planned to eliminate us both. Why they would wish to harm my mate, I could not grasp. I felt a surge of raw power, instinctively sweeping them aside. I coiled protectively around the magnificent being. Who dares to touch my mate? I roared, my voice reverberating with nascent power. The situation, already inexplicable, only grew more complicated. Later, a host of figures knelt before me, garbed in the dark cloaks of the Shadow Dominion, urging me to reclaim my rightful place. I blinked, confused, and denied their claims, stating that they had mistaken me for someone else. I insisted I was merely a small wormling. They respectfully corrected me, explaining that I was an umbral serpent, a creature of immense power. I nudged against my mate's hand, my inner thoughts echoing the powerful connection I felt to him. I declared that if my mate said I was a wormling, then that was what I was. For 3 days, he had scoured the bleak lands, searching for any sign of me. He eventually settled into a hidden grotto, calmly roasting some wild game. The aroma was rich, a testament to the unique flavors of the arcane beasts inhabiting these realms. A small, frantic voice in his mind, belonging to his system, Chip, urged him to hurry, reminding him that the Shadow Lord was due to manifest in an hour and powerful keepers from the Alliance of Light were converging. He needed to secure me before they arrived. My mate, unhurried, flipped the sizzling meat, a tranquil expression on his face. He intended to proceed at his own pace. Before he could utter the words, the very stone beneath him fractured, a hairline crack appearing and releasing a wisp of subtle, dark energy. He glanced down, noting that the fissure hadn't spread, dismissing it as the heat from his fire. He shifted slightly. The next moment, the rock beneath him gave way, and my scaled head, adorned with twin horns, emerged from the chasm, my eyes meeting his. I froze, not daring to move, fearing this serpent might strike if displeased. Concurrently, the sky above twisted with ominous energy, lightning tearing through the gloom, and dark magic surged upwards. Chip's voice, a delighted shriek in his mind, celebrated his genius, asking how he had known that particular stone was the Shadow Lord's egg. He had admitted his surprise, revealing his earlier statement had been a mere bluff. Seeing my unusual form, so clearly potent with venom, he felt a wave of despair, urging Chip to find a solution as his current position felt precarious. Just as he spoke, I, the small dark serpent, moved closer. He cried out, summoning his sword, Glimmer, which manifested to shield him. He breathed a sigh of relief, praising Glimmer for its swift action. The sword shimmered proudly, its point directed towards me, brimming with readiness for battle. Yet I did not strike. Instead, my eyes gleamed as I softly voiced a primal word, my mate. I then affectionately nudged his hand with my cool scales, a gesture of nascent devotion. Both Glimmer and Chip expressed confusion. My mate, a male, was meant to be my mentor, not my spouse. Seeing his hesitation, my small head tilted, my dark vertical pupils wide with bewilderment. Then, I wrapped myself around his wrist, letting out a soft, sorrowful hiss, and repeated the word my mate with greater urgency. A group of junior keepers, their arcane skills still developing, rushed into the grotto, their blades drawn, witnessing our interaction. They froze, exchanging uncertain glances. Then, one of them bellowed that my mate was colluding with a dark entity and that they should be eliminated together. Before my mate could protest or evade the barrage of arcane devices, I leapt from his hand. In a flash, I transformed into a towering shadow WYRM, easily 3 stories tall. A single sweep of my tail sent the keepers sprawling. I coiled, rearing my head before him, my voice thundering, "Who dares to harm my mate?" Some keepers lay bleeding, their devices shattered. One blade wielder, clutching his broken sword that once glittered with 3 large arcane gems, wept openly, declaring his intent to kill us. My mate understood the gravity of the situation, realizing it was now even harder to explain. A new surge of figures, both keepers of advanced power and a contingent of shadow cultists, entered the fray. The grotto instantly erupted into chaos. My mate swiftly recalled Glimmer and slipped away amidst the pandemonium, prioritizing his life over his mission. Once clear of the cavern, he let out a sigh of relief. He mentioned to Chip that the Shadow Lord had likely been overwhelmed and asked if they could abandon the mission. A mechanical voice confirmed his success in saving the Shadow Lord and gave him a new directive: take me as his apprentice. My mate, bewildered, watched as Chip pointed to his sleeve. The Shadow Lord was apparently nestled within. He lifted his sleeve to find me, a small dark serpent, coiled obediently inside. Seeing him, my eyes lit up. I immediately lifted my head, rubbing against his palm, my tail wagging with joyful enthusiasm, as if seeking his praise. He cursed softly, wondering when I had entered his sleeve. Chip clarified that I had swiftly slipped in when he seemed about to leave, and he had been too preoccupied to notice. He reached for me, but I deftly eluded his grasp, darting into the collar of his tunic. Each subsequent attempt to retrieve me was met with my slippery evasions. He muttered that I was as elusive as buttered noodles. To his further annoyance, I then tried to burrow into his trousers, only to be slapped away, forcing me to retreat and coil securely around his waist. He gritted his teeth, questioning Chip if this insistent serpent was truly the Shadow Lord, or perhaps something more lecherous. Chip stroked his chin thoughtfully, affirming my identity based on the ominous celestial phenomena and surging dark energy witnessed during my manifestation. However, the reason for me calling him my mate remained a mystery. Chip paused, then a sudden realization struck, suggesting that perhaps as an oviparous being, I simply imprinted on the first person I saw upon hatching. My mate's eye twitched. He argued that it should logically be father, not mate. Chip shrugged, suggesting I was young and simply mistaken, advising him to humor me for now and later convince me to become his apprentice. He shot Chip a withering glance, questioning the casualness of such a declaration. Chip, recalling the promise of 100 million, conceded. For the reward he would endure. Days earlier, a luminous sphere identifying itself as Chip, a system, had approached him, offering a chance to enter a story. The idea of becoming a Shadow Lord's mentor sent shivers down his spine, and he quickly declined, citing the high-risk nature of such a role and his own heterosexual identity. Chip calmly presented the compensation. Completing the mission would yield 100 million CRS. He immediately changed his tune. Forget missions. It was the joy of mentorship that truly appealed. He declared his extensive experience and vowed to guide me into a model citizen. When he next opened his eyes, he was Ethan Thorne, an elder of the Azure Citadel. This was a realm of power where, for centuries, the forces of light had flourished while the Shadow Dominion had waned since the previous Shadow Lord's demise. Until my advent, hailed as the hope for the Shadow Dominion's resurgence. The various Keeper factions considered me a dire threat and sought my destruction. The original Ethan had rescued me, ostensibly taking me as his apprentice, but secretly coveted my umbral serpent form, planning to absorb my power once I reached my peak to empower his blade. I was meant to mature within the Azure Citadel and fall in love with Sarah Reynolds, with whom I would secretly pledge my life. However, upon discovering Ethan's treacherous scheme, Sarah would be eliminated by his hand. I, having just reached adept-level power, would be pierced through my core with a sword and cast into an abyss. The torrent of hatred would corrupt me, leading to my eventual cleansing of the entire realms of power. His mission was to prevent my corruption and avert that catastrophic future. He had arrived just as I manifested, facing a siege from the keepers. His first task was to rescue me and take me as his apprentice. Thus, he had volunteered to lead the vanguard against the Shadow Lord, his true purpose being to save me. Yet, my impulsive words had complicated everything, leading to both of us being hunted by the keepers. The thought brought a headache. Suddenly, I stirred within his collar, my head emerging to nuzzle his chin affectionately. He looked down into my bright, dark eyes, my small tail wagging behind me like a happy pup. He was amused. He pulled out a piece of dried meat and dangled it before me, enticing me to say mentor. Upon seeing the meat, my eyes gleamed, but at the word mentor, my expression immediately soured. I refused, insisting he was my mate. He, a male, was certainly not his mate, and his blood pressure spiked. My mate's sharp tones startled me, making me retract my neck. Then, I angrily coiled myself, completely ignoring the tempting meat. This little creature certainly had spirit. Glimmer, observing the scene, mimicked my actions, lightly tapping his hand with its hilt. This, however, provoked a furious reaction. I, the small dark serpent, instantly uncoiled, lashing my tail fiercely against the hilt. Glimmer retreated behind my mate, humming defensively, its complaints clearly audible if not decipherable. Just then, a fierce cry echoed from nearby. He saved the Shadow Lord. Capture him. Before the words finished, several keepers, their blades glinting menacingly, gave chase. It was a misunderstanding, compounded by their numbers, so my mate sought to avoid engagement, taking to his sword to flee. Yet, no sooner had he cleared the area than he encountered another group, this time shadow cultists. He abducted the Shadow Lord. Seize him. My mate couldn't help but laugh, a bitter sound. For the first time in millennia, the forces of light and shadow were united, all in pursuit of him. To prevent any further complications from me, he scooped me into his embrace and ascended on his sword. His masterful aerial maneuvers quickly shook off his pursuers. To lie low, he found a small cottage on the outskirts of Maple Creek. The ceaseless dangers of the bleak lands had exhausted him. He placed me into a clay pot on the table, cleaned himself, and lay on the pallet. The moment he closed his eyes, I deftly burrowed into his collar, coiling comfortably on his chest, even licking his lips affectionately with my tongue. Glimmer approached, but I immediately straightened, letting out a hiss. The sword quivered, retreating into its sheath. My mate sighed, rubbing his temples, then lifted me to eye level. He told me not to be aggressive towards Glimmer, reminding me it had saved my life, and instructed me to sleep in the pot. My head drooped immediately. I refused, insisting I wanted to sleep with my mate. As if fearing he might discard me, my tail swiftly wrapped around his wrist, even tying a small knot. He smiled wryly, letting me be. Sleep claimed him swiftly. I awakened much later, nestled in a cool embrace. A sense of unease rippled through me, and I instinctively tried to shift away, only to be held tighter by strong, firm arms. I jolted awake, opening my eyes to find a handsome youth, stark naked and alluringly dark-haired, beside me in the bed. His arm was around my waist, his legs entwined with mine, our heated skin pressed together, holding me captive. Startled, I kicked him off the bed. I landed with a thud, blinking away the fog of sleep, rubbing my reddened forehead. My mate, oh, it was just my little wormling. He had initially thought some pervert had infiltrated.